But really, at the end of the day, all you're looking at are these two numbers. What are you making on a click? What are you paying on a click? What are you making on an impression? What are you paying to get that impression? If you can simplify your business in that way, that will take everything. Welcome to the channel. My name is Eric, and every day on this channel we talk about media arbitrage, how to generate leads, how to monetize media online and generate leads and convert them into customers and sales and all that good fun jazz. And today I've got a special treat for you, and I'm going to take you through a process of understanding how to evaluate media, how to understand how to go and buy traffic and then determine, is it working for me, is it not working for me, and to try to simplify things. Because I find that a lot of people, when we are working together, when math gets involved, I see people's brains just like fall apart. And there's a lot of numbers when you're going into buying traffic, right? It's just, there's the front end of an impression, then there's people that will click, right? Maybe it's an email and they have to open. Then it's what's the click to sign up, conversion rate, right? What's the conversion rate on the back end? There's tons of numbers, right? You can dive in all day long and go after all these different numbers. The treat I have for you today is that I'm going to go through and show you how to evaluate some media. I have some numbers here of different things that we're doing online, and just kind of don't worry about the actual numbers that I'm going to show you, but just try to understand the concepts that I'm going to work with you on to grasp and understand. Like, you don't have to buy media. You can go hire an agency, but it's really important that you understand how you analyze the traffic, the stats, because the numbers tell a story, and you need to figure out how to best optimize what you're doing. I find there's guys that, like, I'll look and see, what's going on with the media buy, and I'll go review it with one of my guys, and I'm like, well, how are you evaluating this? And they'll look at it and they'll show me, and they're doing a great job, but they over confuse things. There's just noise that needs to be taken out of the equation, right? When there's evaluating the traffic, just the performance, that's just a few numbers that you can just look at to determine if it's working or not. Now, if you're looking at the optimization of changing things, right? Changing maybe the creative or the landing pages or where, the user's going to go, the flow, etc. Different story, right? You can look into a lot of different numbers. Each one tells a story. But in this instance, we're gonna keep it super, super simple. I'm gonna show you, how I do it, how my mind thinks about this, and then you can work with me here. But I just wanna, be really simple on what's going on. So if you look at when someone's buying traffic, okay, you have the whole internet, and that's got traffic all over the world. All over the world. So here's a globe, right, with like all these different cities and states, and I'm not an artist, right? So we know that we're looking for a certain person when we're out in the marketplace, and the way we buy traffic is, right, we talked about this. First, who are we talking to, right? Who are we looking for? Then we got to figure out where they are on the internet, and once we can identify where they're hanging out, now we got to grab their attention, right? We got to start to create some ads and then buy traffic, right? So we create ads, right? So here's an ad, right? So maybe it's a video with a click here, right? So what we're doing here is we're creating all different kinds of ads, because this is the ad, all right? This is the ultimately attracting, right? We're attracting somebody, right? When we talk about the AISTP, right? Amazon is selling toilet paper. AISTP, we're attracting people with this, right? We're trying to create a pattern interruption, right? We're trying to get somebody to say, whoa, what is that, right? We're trying to create some curiosity, right? So somebody clicks. We get somebody to click. Now we're sending them to a destination of our choice, right? Our landing page. And in this scenario, this could be a number of things, right? It could be a content page. It could be a lead form. It could be, just an interstitial page, a video page. You could send them to, you're subscribing to YouTube, right? Which is where we are right now. So, maybe you're here from us getting you to subscribe to my channel by buying an ad. You then clicking, doing something. Maybe you took a survey, and at the end of it, the goal was to try to get you to subscribe to my YouTube channel. So, if you went through that, then awesome. I'm happy you're here, right? But that's the concept, right? It could be a simple, subscribe to my YouTube channel, a little teaser here, click, and then go right to my YouTube channel, right? So in that scenario, that would be to YouTube's, right? So this is the destination URL, right? So in this scenario, we could be sending somebody to a landing page, which we own, to capture data, or we could be sending them to YouTube to get them to subscribe, right? They could send them to my podcast. Again, to subscribe. I only own this page right here, right? An affiliate, right? Somebody who's an affiliate can send something to a third-party landing page, right? Third party. So if I own an offer, I can give it to somebody to drive traffic to my page, and then I pay them on some sort of commission. Okay, so that's what we're going to look at today, is buying media for ourselves, whether it's going to a third-party landing page or our own owned and operated landing page, right? It doesn't really matter how we're evaluating it. It's all relatively the same thing, okay? And here is how we're going to do it. So let's go over to this spreadsheet here and take a look. So pretend like we're running a bunch of different offers here, right? And we're looking at clicks, right? So here's the total clicks. So we're seeing like a home improvement offer, a dental insurance offer, solar energy for homes, beginner day trading, online legal services, Medicare supplemental insurance, right? It doesn't really matter. Like, what I'm trying to teach you guys here, it doesn't matter what you're promoting. I'm trying to teach you something that is evergreen, okay? Everybody know what evergreen means? Raise your hand. Yeah, okay? It lasts forever, right? Like, I don't want to teach you something that you're going to learn for the next year and then it's not relevant. I want to teach you something that you can use no matter where you are on the internet, where you're buying media, and it's the concept, the high-level frameworks, the strategy behind all of this that allows you to learn something that will last forever. And now it's like, what do they say? Give a man a fish, he eats for the day. Show a man how to fish, he eats for a lifetime. Oh, terrible delivery. But hey, guys, I'm authentic. I am who I am, right? You can tell that this isn't scripted. It's just me talking to you guys. But yeah, that's exactly right. So, right, it's teach a woman how to fish and she'll eat for a lifetime. So that's what we're doing here. We're teaching you how to fish. We're teaching you how to find the fish so that you don't need me. You don't need anybody. You're not dependent on anybody but yourself. So when you understand this stuff, boom, your money, right? So I'll walk you through this a little bit. So pub clicks here. Right here is the spend that we have for getting those clicks, right? So we're talking about the clicks here, right? So here's the click, right? When somebody goes, right? So internet and traffic. So let's say Facebook, Google, websites, right? They're all going to get you traffic. You're getting your ad in front of that traffic, that person that you're looking for. And we're looking for a click. That is our goal, our click right here. And we're paying on a click basis, right? So 18,240 clicks, right? And we're paying $307.65. So paying a pub for an impression, right? Well, what does that mean? So when you're paying for a click here, to us, it's an impression. To the person that you're getting the traffic from, you're paying on a CPC, right? But from here, we're looking at it on an impression. So I like to look at revenue per impression, RPI, okay? What are we paying to the partner right now? It's 2 cents, right? So we're paying 2 cents a click at 18,240 clicks. We're paying $307. And here is something that we look at, which is click discrepancy. I won't go into too much detail here, but ultimately, what is the partner showing on how many clicks they got us versus what is my system showing me of what we received on our pages here, right? So, you know, discrepancies are big, but it's not really important for this. So let's just get rid of the noise. All right, we're closing this down, and I black things out just because it's noise for you guys. A lot of stuff here is not relevant. I want to keep it super simple to show you guys how to do this. So on this 18,244 clicks, we generated $3,193.19, right? So the net revenue here is $3,193 minus the $307 that we paid to get those clicks to equal $2,885.54. Woohoo, baby, right? You're psyched. You're killing it, right? The pub CPC here of what we have, this is what we pay the pub in their system. This is on our cost per impression, right? So we're looking at revenue per impression. The CPC is really our cost per impression, right? They equal the same thing. It's the same thing here, right? Let's get some other colors here. So same thing, right? So the CPC is just what you're paying out to the partners. But when we're evaluating traffic, we need to know what is our cost to get that impression, to get that person from wherever they are on the internet over to one of our pages. That's our goal. Our goal is to get people off of other platforms into our world, right? That's why we want to capture data, right? On a landing page, we could have some lead forms, right? So like a lead form, you know, name, email, maybe you need phone, whatever that is, right? Why is someone going to give you that? Well, you got to give them something that is interesting, right? That's why you either may have something on there that you're giving away for free that is of value to the person, and you're trading them their information for your free 10 secrets on how to consolidate debt, right? Whatever that secret is, whatever that value is that you're doing, right? And we could talk about that. We've done it before, lead magnets, whatever, right? Another way to do it is we can do it driving them to a survey, right? And here we have our headline that's curious based and our start page, because we're driving people somewhere and we don't want to just ask them to give us their information right away. We just, you know, you want to talk to them. You want to understand them. You want to try to give them something of value in a different way. So you create some curiosity. The beauty of like surveys, quizzes, right? The same thing, quiz, is that you're allowing somebody to come in and learn something about themselves. You're getting them curious about whatever it is, right? So it's, you know, what type of home is right for you? 5 mistakes people make when they're consolidating their debt. You know, things like that, right? And that's interesting, right? There's 4 types of parents. Which one are you? You know, I'm learning something about myself, right? And you're making that promise you're going to tell them at the end. So then you get people to answer all these questions that are really awesome. At the end, you get there. And then to give them the results, you make them give you something in return, right? You're giving them something of value so then they can give you their name and email, right? So things like that, right? But whatever it is, you're driving traffic to all these places, and we're talking about how to figure out how to look at the data and see if it's working or not, and then how to scale it, right? So, okay, so here it works out to 2 cents that we're paying for an impression, and we look at it as the other one here, which is, how do we circle that? Let's do some gray. Our RPI, okay? So really, the 2 things that we're looking at to simplify everything is what is our cost per impression and what are we making on that impression. So our CPI is our cost per impression, our RPI is our revenue per impression. So if you take everything out of the equation, you look at it like that and you can determine if you're making money or not, right? So if you look here, right, we got 18 cents an impression. We're paying 2 cents an impression. And here now we're netting out 15 cents an impression, right? Net margin is amazing, okay? And this is something, there's a reason why I'm showing you these numbers in this way. I want to show you something that's really important that people lose sight on this and make this mistake, and it hurts their growth in the business, okay? So this is the secret that I'm going to tell you that you need to understand when you're buying media, when you're a media buyer, or if you're not even necessarily the one pushing the buttons, people are buying media, but you're driving it. You're understanding what's going on so that you can now give somebody some direction on how to scale the business, right? But right now, we're making 90%. That is killer, right? Oh my God, like that's a ridiculous business. So you're ultimately getting 90% of all the revenue you're generating. It's awesome, right? Well, let's go over here and figure out how to optimize this business. All right, and let's see. We talked about this and we're seeing that we're making 90% margins. And let's see if we unhide this. Yes, cool. All right, so I put this here for you guys so that we're on the same page, so we don't have to go back and forth. So let's make this green, right? This is our revenue per impression. Why is this continuously going up? And this is our cost per impression. Cool. The beauty of the internet and the beauty of technology. Okay, so here we go. On this campaign, we're doing great. We're making 90%. The thing is that it's not necessarily always about the margin that you're making, okay? Now, a lot of people that I see buying media that I work with will stop right there. And that's their placement on wherever they're buying traffic. Okay, just so we're clear, every one of these is a different placement, a different ad somewhere on the internet. And there's different sources, right? There's different offers, there's different sources. So like you're looking at it by every click, okay? It's really important. You know, that's another mistake I see people make. They're buying traffic, but they're not tracking by source. So they have no idea what they're really making for every click from a source. They may know overall what they're making, but there could be one source that's doing amazing, and then there's 10 other sources that are losers, but they keep the losers on because they don't know that they're losing money there, right? They're not tracking all the way down to it by each source. So that's really important, guys. You got to do that, okay? The best you can. Here we go with this. We have 18,000. We're making 18 cents. We're paying 2 cents. Now, what we want to do here, okay, is, right, we're making a huge margin. We want to try to understand from where we're buying traffic, is there more available to us, okay? You guys got to understand that you're competing with the world, okay? You need to understand that a publisher, a platform, they need to win also, right? We always talk about everybody that needs to win, right? The publisher, the media guy needs to win, the customer needs to win, we need to win, the advertiser needs to win, everybody needs to win, right? We all need to be happy so that we can now all have good business. If somebody's losing in the equation, then it's a loser, right? So if the pub's losing, right, on 2 cents, then they might be like, we're only giving you 18,000 clicks. And let's pretend like it is monthly, right? We're only getting 18,000 clicks. If we looked at that by day, insert, let's say daily clicks, all right? This divided by 31, right? So we're getting 589 clicks a day. For a platform that may have a ton of traffic, that's nothing. That is nothing. And while it's awesome, like what's going on, and we have a good business here, pretend like that's your only business, right? Well, we need to figure out if we can get more traffic. And to do that, you got to look at it as, you got to understand that, and I'll explain this to you. Let me show it to you on this pad here, okay? Because that's important. Publishers, right? The media, right? They're evaluating what they're making on their traffic, right? So they look at it as an effective cost per thousand, right? Or an effective cost per impression, an effective revenue per impression, an effective revenue per thousand, okay? So they're looking at stuff as an effective revenue per thousand, effective revenue per impression. It's the exact same thing, okay? I like to look at it by impression personally. It's just easier numbers, and it just, for people that are new, it just confuses them when you start doing it by thousands. So I just do that, right? But at the end of the day, it's like this, right? So if it's 10 cents an impression, that is a $100 RPM, okay? Same thing. It's the exact same thing, okay? All you're doing is you're taking the 100, you're dividing it by the 1,000, and it's 10 cents. That's how these publishers are looking at it. So I'll give you an example of how Google does it, right? Does anybody know how Google makes money here? Like, raise your hand. Yes, I do. I will tell you that the majority of the people in this world do not understand how Google makes money, right? So if we look at Google, right, we know that there's a search. Any search engine. Search. The product is the organic results. So if you're searching for pet food, for a canine, then the organic results, the better it is, the more relevant it is, the better Google is to you, right? If you go and you search for something, how frustrated are you when you search for something in Google or Bing or wherever, and you search and the results are nowhere near what you're looking for, right? If that keeps happening, you're not going to use it. But that's the product of what Google started their business on, okay? Now, someone said, wait a second, so it's great that we have that here. Now we need to monetize the traffic. We need to make money because you search and they give you results. You're not making money, right? You're not paying anything to search. So how do they make money? Advertising, advertisers. So what do? They allow ads here, right? So ad, they may put it here, an ad, right? So what happens with this business here, okay, is right? So we're going to pay now on a PPC, okay? It is pay-per-click, okay? So what's happening is people are going to go bid for this, for clicks, okay? And I'm going to do this quickly to show you, but let's say we have two different advertisers, right? We have company 1 and company 2, okay? Now let's say that this guy is bidding $10 a click, okay? And let's say that this guy's bidding $5 a click, right? So let's say company 1, company 2, okay? That's their ad, and that's their ad, right? So we have two ads here. Which one is more valuable? Well, from the looks of it, it looks like the $10 one is more valuable than the $5 one, right? Because you're looking at it on what somebody's willing to pay per click, right? Well, no, that's not it. That's not necessarily true, because they're looking at it on how much are they making on a revenue per thousand, okay? What are they making on every impression, right? How do they figure that out? Well, okay, let's take the impressions, and then we need to have the click rate percentage, right? Make sense, guys? So here, I'll show you on here, right? We have Google, we have company 1, company 2, right? PPC they're willing to pay, company 1's paying $10, this guy's paying $5, right? So impressions that each of those ads are seeing, let's pretend like they both saw 50,000, right? They're both here. Let's pretend like there's only two companies that are bidding and they're showing up every time on the 50,000 impressions, okay? Now, click rate percentage is super important for Google, right? Because they're looking at it as how much are they making. Just because they're bidding $10, that doesn't mean that they're paying $10. They only pay $10 when somebody clicks, right? So what happens if company two's ads are way more compelling to the user than company one? Well, let's pretend that these guys have a 1% click rate. Let's pretend that they have a 5% click rate. Okay, let's get those percentages in there. So we look at it here, times the 1%. These are clicks. We look at it here, times 5%. So now here's the total clicks, right? So what are they spending? Spend 500 clicks times 10 is $5,000. 2,500 clicks times 5 is 12. Well, now I ask you, which one is more valuable? Is the $10 PPC ad more valuable than the $5 PPC ad? No, right? The variable is this, right? This is the variable. It's, oh, that's a bad color. Ooh, let's make it blue. Yeah, right? So it's all around this click rate. Now, let me just show you. Google's looking at this as what is the RPM, right? What is the effective revenue? Effective revenue per 1,000, right? So you take that divided by the 50,000 divided by 1,000, and the effective RPM is 100. So that divided by that, boom. Okay. Now, effective RPM, the effective revenue per impression is that divided by 1,000. Woo! Right? I was right. Cool. That divided by 1,000, and that's what they're making, right? This is what Google cares about. This is how Google is going to evaluate the business, okay? So right here, company 2 is the winner, right? Boom, boom. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Loser, loser, right? It's great that they want to pay $10, but it doesn't work. Whatever their ad is not clicking. So Google's not making money. So you got to understand when you're buying traffic, right? When we're buying traffic, right? Let's go back to that. When you're buying traffic here, if this is Google, right? You need to understand what does the publisher need to make to get traffic. That is so important. And you have to measure that in some way, right? And just FYI, look, if I made this the same click rate, all of a sudden now this is more valuable, right? 3% still more valuable, right? It could perform not as well, but more valuable because they're willing to pay $10, right? So you kind of play with those numbers and mess around. Google just wants to make as much money as they can. And it's just a matter of what is the most valuable thing to them on their page. And it has to be relevant, right? It has to be a good user experience. Otherwise, you're like, if you're not having fun and you don't like it there, you're not going to come back. And that's a big problem. The publishers don't want that. They want you to stay, right? TikTok, they want you to stay. They want you to hang out there as long as you can. Facebook, stay in there as long as you can. So they're just working to keep you there. The longer you're there, the more ad revenue they can generate off of you. And if you understand that and you understand the rules of the game, then you work within those rules and you try to figure out how to make something compelling for the audience that's on that platform to now have a good experience, and yet also you're making money for that platform. It's pretty simple, right? So that's how it goes here, right? So the thing is that we want to look at how do we scale the business. And the thing is here is just because we're making 90% isn't that exciting, right? Because we're making 18 cents on an impression, we're paying 2 cents, right? So now what we're trying to figure out is, how do we increase? Well, we need to know, is there more traffic available? If there's more traffic available and I can get more volume, I'm willing to work on a smaller margin than what I'm currently making, right? However, if I can't get more traffic, quality traffic, the same traffic that I'm currently getting, okay? I don't want just more traffic. And if the value of that traffic is less to me, it's not worth it, right? So what I'm trying to figure out here is, how much traffic do you have? How much traffic is available, right? If I'm getting 589 clicks per day, how can I get more? I want more. I want 18,000 clicks per day. If we can maintain the same quality, the same conversion rates, the same click rates, the same conversion rates, the same back-end conversion rates. If all of that remains constant, and I'm assuming that it will, right? And until it doesn't, I will assume that it does, right? Well, I need to figure out what I can now increase the traffic. So what I have here is the media CPC allowable increase percentage, right? So that is, let's say, 100%. Well, let's put 100% here. So if you see, our cost per click, the cost we're getting to get to, can you guys see that? Is 3 cents, 0.0337. And because of that, our new projected spend is $615, right? Well, if our traffic doesn't increase, why would you do that? You already got a honey deal. You're making 90%. Maybe it's the max amount of traffic you can get. Maybe. But if there's more traffic to be had and you're going to spend more money to do so, what's going to happen is you're getting more clicks. So what does that look like? If you give them the $3, the 3 cents per click, right? Let's say you can increase it by 600%, right? So now all of a sudden you're spending 11 cents to get a click. So now your spend went up to $21.53, right? You're making where is it? How much revenue are we making? $31.93.19, right? So that's what we're making. What box is that? Is that R3? Okay. Whoa. So that's R3. So let's put that here. Okay. Our current, let's insert that so you guys can see it. Total rev in you. And we don't want that to be red because we like making money, right? So equals R3. Green. Okay. So that's what we're currently making total, right? So how do you get 18 cents per impression? For us, we're looking at, all right, 18,244 people are landing on my page, which is what we're going to assume, right? There's no drop off. And of that, we're making $3,183, which backs out to 18 cents per, okay? You know, you could look at it as revenue per click over here, right? RPC, right? That's what you're making on this click to this page. But there's drop off and all that jazz. So in any event, here is what we're looking at. Now, if we increase our spend from 2 cents to 11 cents, 600%, now our spend is $2,153. So we just went from making all of that money, right? We're 90% margin, and we were making $2,885, right? To now, if we took this minus that, we're only making $1,000. Makes 0 cents. Why would we do that? Well, because we should expect some increase in traffic, okay? So if you look here, as we do that, let's say we got 10% increase in traffic. So now our clicks go from 18,000. If we're getting 18,000 clicks, we increase our bid by 600% from 2 cents to 11 cents. Now we get a 10% increase in traffic. We're going to now get 20,068 clicks. Okay? So how do you figure out how much money you're making there at that point, right? This is what we were making, $3,193. So what do? We just take this. We're assuming that everything's going to stay the same, okay? So we're making 18 cents per impression, right? Or revenue per click. So we're taking our revenue per impression. I'll put RPC, revenue per click. So 18 cents times that, 20,000 is $3,512, right? So the difference here is now, look, projected new media spend, which would be $2,368.91. So the net revenue here is now $1,143. Now, is that good? Let's put that over here so you guys can see, so I don't have to go back. Net revenue. That is that net revenue, guys, is when you subtract all of the revenue minus all of the costs. So your net revenue here would be S3. Okay, so equals S3. Okay, so this is what we're making, $2,885. So for us to increase this 600%, we better get enough traffic that we're going to make more money. Okay, if we don't, why would you do it, right? So here we ended up making $1,143. So if you look here, I have projected net revenue delta, which means we just lost $1,700 from what we were currently doing. So when you're doing that, it makes 0 sense. What is that number? Projected net margin percentage, which is, where is that? Your projected net would be that net times the revenue. So boom, right? That makes sense. So now we're making 67%, which, guys, in any world, if you're making 67% net revenue, home run. Just keep doing that all day long. Scale it. Just keep doing it, right? It's awesome. But when you're making 90%, when you're coming from making 90% and you now increase the spend and now you've just decreased it to 67%, right? The delta net margin percentage is 90%. It's that minus that, right? So we just lost 23%. Makes 0 sense, right? Makes 0 sense for us. Now, we're not in the business to take money away from ourselves. As much as we want to give our publishers more money, there's got to be a reason why we do it, right? And the reason we're going to do it is because the traffic is going to increase and you're going to get more. And by getting more, you're willing to work on a lower margin. So I still can pay 600% more on my traffic, but I better get a higher increase in my traffic, right? So if it's somebody that's controlling it, right? Someone's sending emails for you, or maybe they're putting you in their flows or on their site or somewhere, and you're all the way in the back. Well, come on, man. Like, the whole idea is that I'm giving you more money to get more traffic. And you should want to get more traffic because I'm willing to pay you more, right? I'm willing to pay you more to get more clicks. Now, like the Google example from earlier, right? Well, the PPC here, well, maybe it's just not that exciting anyway, right? What happens if this guy was going to pay $11 now? I'm willing to pay $11, right? Well, even if this guy was paying $11 now, the click rate was still so crappy, it's still not going to work for him. This is still going to be more valuable, right? So in that scenario, right, we want to be able to get more traffic. So if we're going to do this, it better go up. So what's the number we need to go to make this make sense? So 20%, 40%, 50%, right? Well, look, we're still net not making enough, right? And were we doing this right? Let's see. That should be that times 18 cents. That is correct, right? So what's happening here is we're getting more clicks, right? We're still making 18 cents on that click, on that impression to our page, right? So which gets us $4,789, but we're spending $3,230, right? So we're still, it just doesn't make sense right now. So we can't afford that, right? But maybe we can afford that, right? So in this scenario, we're looking at paying 300% more. Well, in that scenario, we're getting 27,000 clicks because we're looking for the traffic to increase 50%. And this is not like happening, because if you do that, then the partner is going to be like, well, that's what you need. You're projecting here. You're trying to figure out what you need, right? So you're playing around with these numbers. So if we increase it by doubling the amount of traffic that we get, well, here we end up making $4,789, right? Because we got a 50% increase in traffic, right? 100%, we doubled the amount we're willing to pay. A 50% increase in traffic got us now 27,366 clicks. Now that equals the 4,789, right? Which is this times that will equal that, right? Now, the new spend here that we have is $922, right? So that's the 27,366 clicks times the new cost per impression we are willing to pay, right? Or to the publisher, to a Google, to a Facebook, to a whomever, where it's a cost per click, right? For them, it's their revenue per click. I know, I get it. It's very, you can get really confused with this, and that's why I get it. But really, at the end of the day, all you're looking at are these two numbers. What are you making on a click? What are you paying on a click? What are you making on an impression? What are you paying to get that impression? If you can simplify your business in that way, that will take everything out of the equation that's like really confusing you to identify if the business is profitable or not.